It was the last day of the second Sunken Temple lockout when I saw this man in Ironforge. How could I resist asking to join that guild? He can't keep getting away with it.
You pig, for the sake of argument, if you come at me in a public situation and I have to shoot through a crowd of people to defend myself.
Getting to 50 was easy enough, but now there's obstacles to overcome and challenges
really
yet unknown. First, we need to get some gear so that way we can actually be ready for Sunken Temple. This log isn't from running with my guild, it's from a pug, but this is from my guild, that tabard, or I should say the lack of a tabard. You see, they don't believe in handouts, and so everybody needs to get exalted with Warsong Gulch because that's the actual guild's tabard. These guys are fucking crazy, and I love them. Here's a little bit of our conversations from Discord. No, they're not crisis actors. We have fun all the time. Randy, I need something schizophrenic for my video.
I don't know, man. Now you said this about a video, I don't think I can do it.
Schizophrenic.
The jar of Alex Jones is right keeps getting filled up occasionally here. He says shit that's unfucking believable, right? Like, nobody believes it, but every once in a while, it's fucking true.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect, Randy.
It's not schizophrenic, dude. It's true.
I love getting to meet people in this game and make fond memories. They're not always a good shit, sometimes it's a dumb crap, like when this pug just face pulls the boss after the raid leader's been warning us over and over again about it. Turns out Blizzard thought of that before though, and they made it so he just despawns. Fucking hilarious. But before any raid stuff, we're gonna sadly have to get some Priebus gear, but I'm not gonna get anything that isn't fun, so I'm hitting up Goodwill. We're gonna get some of this cheap ass gear, hit up the mailbox, put it on so we just have okay stats, definitely not as good as what you could get. And then we're heading over to Kalimdor because I want to go to Maradon. Blizzard accidentally created a fantastic meta with these wild offerings. You see, people can get tokens from killing stuff in Maradon, ZF, and I think BRD too. And since they're impatient, they accidentally want a speedrun, which is to my advantage because that's what I want to do. So we're going to be heading to Princess Theradress and smoking her over and over and over again, which is just how I like to play my video games. But before that, I want to try to get a little bit more gear and do the one thing that I'm probably not going to like. A group quest to get the legendary sword, Thrashblade. But you might not want to jump into this because you could do something other than get lost with a bunch of people getting this fucking staff. Because it's actually a nightmare to own this thing. It's a total trap. You see, it's like signing up to be the dedicated driver in these Mara runs later forever, where you can have idiots waste your time constantly because you're going to want to be the last one in so everyone gets in. And then when you try to get in, you're going to have fuckers like this try to attack your ass all the time. So yeah, an attempt on my life has been made over and over again. And then you most likely won't have people watching you suffer, which is a positive because having that is some decent content. But in your case, you're just going to be running all alone, get all the way to the end of the run and find out that in your absence, they cleared everything and they're starting to log out. And you may be thinking, that's okay, I was in the instance, I can definitely loot the bosses, they just died, right? No, it's not a raid. You have to be close, otherwise you're not allowed to loot shit. And this means you just lost a lockout, so now you have to do this dumb reset bug where you hit back and then you reconnect, sign back into the game, and it lets you go over the 5 instances an hour. Then you can zone out, and what do you know, you can have trouble find you yet again, and you can get fucked. And now you're able to do a nice little run back, and hopefully you don't lose another lockout. I know with this channel I usually talk about how you should take on responsibility and do things, but unless you're a YouTuber and you actually get paid for getting fucking tortured, I would suggest not getting the Scepter of Celebris. Maybe saying fuck the Thrashblade and getting Parasomnia, and not being exposed to this nonsense where you die, because you know it's another thing? Even if you're just a little bit late, you still have to run through this huge fucking maze to either run back into the dungeon, whether you died in there, or to retrieve your corpse. And then, this could happen. And in this case, I actually got lucky, because they just wanted to screw with me. So this is an awesome interaction out in the world. And then, look at this! Hey, they actually freed my ass too, so that was kind of inspiring. This is the kind of cross-faction interactions that make me energized. But sometimes positive emotions can be short-lived. What will happen this time? It looks like there's a bunch of horde. Wait, that guy's casting chain lightning, and it looks like Raven's chasing my ass. Oh, they want to block me from playing the game again. I'm gonna fucking lose it, dude. I'm gonna absolutely lose my shit, and it's happening to my teammates too. You see, they're dead, they're walking in, you know what, screw it, we're going somewhere else. We're gonna have some more positive interactions, and the most unlikely of places, actually, Stranglethorn Vale. But it's not gonna be with the other faction, it's gonna be with a noob question on Alliance, the faction that I am. So this guy is wondering how this PvP event shit works, I guess, and doesn't realize that, well, you can't really talk to anybody safely on the Alliance during it unless you disable the event by talking to the little trolls downstairs. So we gotta, of course, let them know, and then get into a nice little vantage point in a moment so we can see, well, are they actually gonna figure out where to go? So let's hop up here, and then we're gonna play I Spy for a moment. Kind of bet they're not gonna be able to figure it out, though, but we'll take a little peek, and it looks like our buddy is actually never going to find the spot. I was fucking waiting there for like 30 seconds and never saw anything. Like, I don't know what the hell he did. I guess he just waited 3 minutes. And I already had Songflower, so I decided that I was going to use the neutral auction house, which I did just a second before this, but I forgot to go to the mailbox, so time to pick up those booms. I got absolutely fucking scammed. They charge like 4 times as much on there, but what are you going to do? And then, of course, we still need to get the Booty Bay buff, and I don't want to come back here, so I have to start stimming, you know, just running all around, trying to kill some time and praying that this buff's going to drop in a reasonable amount of time, because I was a little traumatized from my Maradon experience, and then I noticed that, oh, hey, I have the buff. Shit, what should I do about that? But just kidding, that's what a reasonable person would have noticed, but I'm a fucking Neanderthal, and so I didn't know until people were saying it in chat here, and then I was like, uh-oh, what do I do? What do I do? I need to deal with this, the boon is on CD, and then I predicted correctly that in Raid, I would lose my world buffs. Yeah, that's a little spoiler. I'd lose my world buffs before they time out, and so I decided I would just fly somewhere. So I picked Duskwood. It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to lose them in the air. And then we had to have the other exceptional experience involving world buffs, which is that sometimes you just have to log out and not play your fucking character. But Blizzard, come on, you need to make it so that way I can boom this shit faster. Don't be dumb like me and get your 2 buffs back to back, and it will resolve that problem. Here's my character I killed some time on, Ape from Tree. I started raid leading in Classic Era, and people started calling me Jake in raid because Ape just sounds weird. And then my next account was named Jake from Tree, and that's how I got the YouTube name. Yeah, it's a fucking stupid name. But if you accidentally do have to log out of your character, it's not that big of a deal. You should just have some friends in the game that you can hang out with. Like, during this time, you just bullshit with people in Discord, or you can mess around with other shit in the game. Like, here's an interesting little thing that you might not know. This ornate spyglass, it increases the render distance. Mobs move 10 times slower in dungeons when they're not rendered, which means if you have an ornate spyglass, sometimes you can summon a mob. If you've ever been doing Molten Core and the big flamey guy, what's his name, Geddon, isn't coming, you can just use this spyglass and look towards him, and it will make it appear as if he spawns. Look at those pigs. See? You can see them right now. For some reason, you can't see the fucking fence, but when I'm not using the spyglass, you can't see them. Interesting shit, right? I can't really show you how they're moving much slower, and they probably aren't anyways, because there's probably a player over there within render distance, but there's lots of ways that you can actually kill time in WoW and have fun. And I think the best way to use times like this is just to get to know your guildies more. I think it's super, super fun to do that, and it creates this lore about your own gameplay. Like, who are you? Who am I? A lone adventurer? Do you see other people as just pawns and NPCs? Is this a single player encounter, and it's all just a mask when you get onto Discord and know people? I really hope not. I think that this game is an excuse to do things with other people. A reason to see them over and over again and appreciate some nice art. When I'm playing, I'm fulfilling a role. We're all fucking LARPers. Nobody plays this game for the actual gameplay. It's pretty good, but it's not all that great. We're here for something bigger. This is one of my guildies. His name was Fred. He used to be a manager in the real world, but he became disabled sometime before he met us, and so he is no longer able to do that. You may have noticed that he's level 70. My last guild was a Wrath the Lich King raiding guild, and sadly, Fred died before ever getting to do a raid with us. We got to run 2 Naxes on the beta together. I wish we got a third. It was never about the items. It was always about our story. About what we did together in the game. If you take your time here seriously, your memories can be a monument to your past. You'll remember things that make you happy forever. This used to be the normal way the game was. It used to be that most players had experiences like this. I remember playing as a child. I was 11. I joined a guild rather randomly. I stayed with them for 3 years. These people were amazing. They knew each other super well. They would rent a fucking beach house and hang out during the summers. I was too young to be involved in that. And the greatest mistake I ever made in gaming was quitting that guild, thinking that I was missing out by not being in the best raid group on the server. I got into that raid group, and I quit the game. That was my first time quitting. I don't think we're ever going to be able to return to those times. So it's important that you get good and that you find like-minded people, so that way you can develop a special bond with other players in the game. And you can have the exact same thing. So a little bit of information about this video. Everything in it is true. I didn't make any of this shit up. That is how I actually joined this guild. I just wanted to join because I thought the name was funny. And then they invited me to a raid. Never thought I'd end up raiding with them. Never really thought I'd interact with them even. They were very cool. I let them know that my gear wasn't super set up and that I didn't want to be a liability. And they said, hey, it's fine. Our run's very strong. We have some pugs. You know, you can come if we have a slot. I was ready at raid time in case somebody wasn't able to make it. They weren't able to make it. Got into raid. Really liked them. Thought that the raid leader seemed cool. Thought the people seemed cool. And then I hung out with them after raid in Discord for like 6 hours. I stayed up way too late. And we had crazy conversations. Right off the bat, I wanted to show them who I was. So I, like, at risk of getting G-kicked, I acted like a schizophrenic, like usual. And they did the same shit right back, and we were able to, I would say, develop a lot of trust and knowledge about each other super quickly, which is what you should do too. If you join a guild, your goal should be, you're gonna make the best friends ever really fast, or you're gonna get fucking G-kicked, okay? You need to show people who you are. That's the way you're going to find people you're really, really tight with. And I've had lots of great friends in World of Warcraft before. Tons and tons, but I do think I found something special here, and maybe I'll have some of my friends from the past join if these guys want some more people. I got no idea. I'm going to keep on making some more content like this as long as the algorithm is into it, because this was a bunch of work. But everything in this series is true, okay? It's all true. I'm not making anything up for the content. It's 100% undramatized. So you can have an experience like this. It's not special. I'm not special.